What's good YouTube, Ben here, welcome to the next video on the channel. In this one, I'm going to give you my next Steel Path Viable build on Warframe. This is going to be my final rebuild for Tenet Flux Rifle. Let's get into this. Right, okay, so this is my final build for Tenet Flux Rifle because the build works absolutely fantastic. The last build I did for this was like 7 or 8 months ago, and it was a pure status build which worked, but it didn't work as well. In this one, it's going status crits, so let's jump into the build. So, rocking Galvanized Aptitude for 80% status chance and on kill plus 40% direct damage per status type affecting the target for 20 seconds stacks up to 2 times. Galvanized Chamber for 80% multi-shot on kill plus 30% multi-shot for 20 seconds stacks up to 5 times. We got Rhyme Rounds for 60% cold and 60% status chance. Malignant Force for 60% toxin and 60% status chance. Rock Incineration for 165% damage. You can swap this out for one of the Bane mods, like Bane of Grineer, Bane of Corpus, whatever. I just use Serration for, like, general damage. Galvanized Scope for on headshot plus 120% critical chance when aiming for 12 seconds, on headshot kill plus 40% critical chance when aiming for 12 seconds stacks up to 5 times. Critical Delay for 200% critical chance and a negative 20% fire rate. And Vital Sense for 120% critical damage. We're also rocking Vigilante Supplies in the extra slot, so it's a 5% chance to enhance critical hits from primary weapons and convert secondary ammo pickups to 30% of ammo pickups, so it gives you more ammo. And then we're running Primary Merciless in the Arcane slot, so rank 5, on kill plus 30% damage for 4 seconds, stacks up to 12 times, and 30% reload speed. So, the Valence bonus on this, by the way, is Magnetic. So, when it comes to statuses, we're rocking Viral Magnetic, and then we've got 60% critical chance with a 4 times critical multiplier and 78% status chance, meaning we're going to be hitting crits and statuses quite a lot. But let's jump into the mission. I'll show you what this thing can do. Alright, so as per normal, we're at Oxsmoker in the Void, and I'll quickly explain why we're here. So the Void is one of the latest game areas of the game, meaning on Steel Path you're dealing with higher level enemies. Not to mention here, you're dealing with the Corrupted, and with the Corrupted you're dealing with enemies with just health, enemies with health and shields, and all enemies have high armor, but also heavily armored units, giving you a more varied example of what your weapon/Warframe can do. Also, I do label this as a viable build, because this build is viable for you to use on the Steel Path, but it probably won't get you to level cap, which is level 9,999 enemies, for those people who do want that. But let's get into this. So, immediately we're going to start, and as you can see, we already start shredding through immediately. Now, Tenet Flux Rifle is such a strong weapon. Like, it's legit ridiculously powerful. Like, for how easy the weapon is to obtain, because all you have to do is assist Parvos. And of course, if you can get like a decent build on off the gate, you're pretty much set because of the way it works. And as you can see, because of the critical chance, we're hitting decently consistent crits, not to mention decently hard crits at that too. For anyone wondering how this works against Acolytes, which I'll be staying in the mission to do, I always do anyway, it works really darned well for Acolyte kills, so I'm just hoping this goes better than my last build, which was for Ignis Wraith. Like, the build itself for Ignis Wraith was great, but I perished a couple of times in the mission because I got a bit cocky, so hopefully that does not happen today. But as you can see, it is just slashing through everything. I want to get a heavily armored unit just so you can see what it does to heavily armored units, because it works pretty darn well against heavily armored units. Also, for anyone wondering why I'm not running hunting munitions, so I try and not run hunting munitions as much as possible. The reason I don't is because, for me, I'm not a meta player by any... Well, no, I wouldn't say that. I am a meta player, however. In a lot of instances, hunting munitions just isn't needed, so you can do, like, more creative builds. However, if you want to get rid of Serration for hunting munitions, feel free. But you will be dropping off natural damage for extra procs. But that's entirely up to you. As you can see, it's not necessary in the slightest. If you wanted to make a build that was more for level 9,999, then I would say add hunting munitions over Serration. But for me, I prefer this, because it works. Like, for those of you who watch these and watch my Yu-Gi-Oh! Master Duel videos, you know I'm not a meta player by any means. So, like, there's very few meta cards I run. So I do like going against meta quite a lot. Just to show people that there are alternate ways to do builds. You don't always have to build every crit weapon the same way. You can build them differently and still have them work really freaking well. Like, as you can see, this works incredibly well. You don't need to run, like, hunting munitions and, like, primed Bane of Grineer or whatever to have a really strong weapon. It helps, don't get me wrong, like, it's not a bad thing to do. It's just, for me, I prefer, like, just different kinds of builds. Because the thing is, right, if everyone built weapons the same way, the game would get a lot more boring, because literally all you'd have to do is watch one person's video, like, okay, everyone's going to build it this way, so we're just going to go ahead and, you know, build it a different way. Like, whereas with me, like, a lot of the times my builds are very different to the meta builds that people create. So, because of that, I just enjoy my builds. Like, they work perfectly fine for the steel path, as you can see. I'm not running into any problems. Like, nothing's surviving long enough to really worry about it. Hey, you butt munch. There we go. But even heavily armored units, as soon as that armor's gone, that's it. They fall. Like, not really anything survives long against this. And like I said, for those wondering how this works against Acolytes, you'll see, but it works pretty darn well. I was going to say, it was like, I thought you were gone, but hey, here we are. Do-do-do. Bye-bye. Bye-bye. To be fair, when it pertains to the Tenet weapons, I'm a huge fan. The Tenet weapons are really strong. There's still quite a few Tenet weapons I do need to get, though, at some point, because I do want to throw builds on pretty much all of them. But at the minute, I've not played a lot of Warframe, which is why I'm doing a few rebuilds, because like, I started a new job last month, so I've not really had much time. But the next build will hopefully be a new build, so... Here we got Misery. Okay. Right, so... Oh, hello.
Stay focused. There's a heavy unit of
Right, so as you can see, shield's completely ripped through, and we're already ripping through the health, which is great.
It's going down here.
And being health leeched, fun. But yeah, like, this really doesn't have a problem cutting through an Acolyte. Like, don't get me wrong, it's not the fastest weapon in the world for it, but at the same time, it's not the slowest either. Like, you can easily just sit here and chill, rip through an Acolyte, and have fun with it. And because of the viral procs, you're also going to be doing a lot of slash. But this would obviously be a lot better if you had hunting munitions on. But again, it's not necessary, especially if you've got, like, other weapons that can cut through. Like, I've got Dual Zarya Prime, which I could just use to slice through the Acolyte, so kind of is what it is. But yeah, let me know what you think about this build in the comments down below. Don't forget you can also support the channel even further by becoming, by liking, commenting, and subscribing. It really does help. Don't forget you can also become a bigger supporter by becoming a channel member from as little as 99 pence per month. And don't forget I do live stream. When I go live here on YouTube and over on Twitch and Kick all at the same time. My streams here on YouTube are in the shorts form feed, some more for mobile. If you want to catch the exact same streams at the exact same time in full 1080p, feel free to join me on Twitch and Kick. Those links are in the description below.